When we explore the descent of Adam and Eve, it is inevitable that our minds return to the well-known tragedy of Cain and Abel. Even for those who do not follow the Christian faith, this story is familiar. However, there is much more to discover about Adam and Eve than is usually discussed. What else can we learn about them? The sacred texts offer few additional details beyond this, leaving gaps that arouse great curiosity. This motivates many people to delve deeper into their studies on the subject, revealing lesser-known facts about a variety of related topics. One of these less discussed subjects is the story of the other sons and daughters of the couple, which at times are equally, if not more, significant than the more famous narrative involving this family. Did you know that Jesus Christ is a descendant of one of the daughters of Adam and Eve? This connection underscores the importance of exploring the history of the couple's other children. In this video, we will delve into the mysterious story of Adam and Eve's daughters. Everyone talks about Cain, Abel, and Seth, but you might be wondering now, daughters? Who were these daughters? How many of them were there? What significance did they have for the history of humanity? Using sources such as the Holy Bible, the Book of Jubilees, and other ancient traditions, we will discuss these stories and try to solve this puzzle of information and sources. So, if this topic has sparked your interest, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel, as we always publish interesting videos like this one. Welcome to the Paths of Wisdom channel, and this is the untold story of Adam and Eve's daughters. Although the story of Adam and Eve is crucial for humanity, as it marks the beginning of everything, the Bible only scratches the surface of this family. Besides the dramatic saga of Cain and Abel, there is a considerable gap concerning the other sons and daughters. According to the biblical narrative in Genesis 5:4, Adam and Eve had other sons and daughters, besides Cain, Abel, and Seth. However, the Bible does not provide many details about these sons and daughters. There are no specific records of their names or their accomplishments. The lack of detailed information about these sons and daughters has left room for interpretations and speculations throughout the centuries, but the Bible does not offer further details about their lives. It is crucial to remember that, while the Bible tells the main story, certain details may have been omitted or lost over time. The Bible is a collection of books, and often some of these books have been part of it but were later removed, such as the Book of Enoch and the Book of the Stories of Adam's Daughters. These books, known as apocryphal books, offer additional perspectives on the events and characters mentioned in the Bible, expanding our understanding of these historical periods. I emphasize that when we talk about apocryphal books, we are not discussing conspiracy theories. The book of the history of Adam's daughters, in fact, even though it was later removed from the Bible, just like the Book of Enoch, this book had the explicit recognition of Pope Gelasius I. Therefore, we will begin our journey by unifying these knowledges and addressing the points of convergence of these books. The story of Adam and Eve's daughters is a rarely discussed topic, often overlooked by theologians, biblical scholars, and even those interested in sacred scriptures. While many focus on the couple's more famous sons, such as Cain and Abel, it's important to remember that Adam and Eve's offspring consist of many other sons and daughters, as mentioned in Genesis 5:4. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. As can be seen, Adam had Cain, Abel, and Seth, and after the birth of the latter, he lived another 800 years and had more sons and daughters. Although the Bible doesn't mention the names of these sons and daughters of Adam and Eve, some ancient Jewish traditions provide information about some of their names. One of these books is the Book of Jubilees. For those unfamiliar, the Book of Jubilees, also known as the Little Genesis due to its relation to the word Jubilee, meaning joy, is a part of the apocryphal Old Testament. It narrates the creation of the world, the formation of Adam and Eve, the fall of humanity through Satan's temptation, and presents stories of various characters from the Old Testament, especially from the book of Genesis. The oldest manuscript to which we have access dates back to approximately 700 BC, although it is a copy of an even older work. Some scholars associate the Book of Jubilees with the Book of Chronicles, suggesting that the scribe Ezra may have written it. However, the Book of Jubilees claims that Moses was its true author, receiving a revelation from an angel on Mount Horeb. Historically, due to the antiquity of the text, we cannot dismiss the possibility that Moses was the actual author. The Book of Jubilees has a significant presence in Israelite culture, with several copies distributed among the people. The Book of Jubilees contains events that align with other stories from the Bible, as well as mysterious tales from the apocryphal Book of Enoch, widely known among early Christians, and even part of the biblical canon used by them. This underscores the importance of not dismissing the Book of Jubilees. This book reports that Adam and Eve had many daughters and mentions the names of the two most important for our history, Awan and Azura. Awan, possibly the first daughter of Adam and Eve, has her name of Hebrew Phoenician origin, meaning power or vice. Some books call her Luluva, meaning beautiful, because she was considered even more beautiful than Eve. She united with Cain, her brother, and according to some sources, her twin brother, and together they bore children. After Cain's banishment due to the murder of Abel, he built a city and named it in honor of his firstborn son, Enoch. Although Awan is mentioned in various Abrahamic traditions, such as the Book of Jubilees, in some, like the Cave of Treasures, she is called Kalima. Thus, Kalima is recognized as Cain's wife and the first daughter of Adam and Eve in some of these traditions. Do you know what Abrahamic religions are? Here we'll pause to explain what these religions are. They are monotheistic religions, whose common origin is recognized in Abraham, or the recognition of a spiritual tradition identified with him. Among them, we have Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Now we will delve into the story of the most important daughter, Azura. According to various ancient Semitic traditions, Adam and Eve's second daughter, like her sister, joined with a brother, in this case, Abel. However, after Abel's murder, she, being a widow, joined with another brother, Seth. Seth was the third male child of Adam and Eve, born after the death of Abel. Abel was destined to raise a lineage fearing God, but his murder interrupted that purpose. Thus, when Seth was born, he was given a name with Hebrew etymological roots, suggesting compensation or substitution. For Adam, Eve, and God, Seth represented compensation for the loss of Abel and would be the one to continue the lineage fearing God. Seth is recognized as a righteous and pious descendant, with his lineage indicated to continue worshiping God according to the biblical narrative. To continue this lineage, Seth marries his sister Azura, the widow of Abel. Remember when I said that Azura was the most important daughter? Now you will understand why. Azura and Seth had children, and their children are the link in the genealogical chain that connects the creation of humanity to later events and important figures in the Judeo-Christian tradition. We can say that the Bible tells the story of the Seth-Azura lineage. For this lineage is the root from which all the illustrious people of the Bible descend. Let's quickly go through the 50-generation genealogical tree of this family and see if you recognize any names. Write in the comments which of these names you know. The genealogical tree begins with Adam, who is the father of Seth. Seth is the father of Enosh, who is the father of Kenan, who is the father of Mahalalel, who is the father of Jared, who is the father of Enoch, who is the father of Methuselah, who is the father of Lamech, who is the father of Noah, who is the father of Shem, who is the father of Arphaxad, who is the father of Cainan, who is the father of Shelah, who is the father of Eber, who is the father of Peleg, who is the father of Roy, who is the father of Serug, who is the father of Nahor, who is the father of Terah, who is the father of Abraham, who is the father of Isaac, who is the father of Jacob, who is the father of Judah, who is the father of Perez, who is the father of Hezron, who is the father of Ram, who is the father of Amminadab, who is the father of Nahshon, who is the father of Salmon, who is the father of Boaz, who is the father of Obed, who is the father of Jesse, who is the father of David, who is the father of Nathan, who is the father of Mattatha, who is the father of Menah, who is the father of Meleah, who is the father of Eliakim, who is the father of Jonam, who is the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. After getting to know this family, with so many illustrious and important figures, and learning about the main daughters of Adam and Eve, you must be wondering, how many sons and daughters did they have, right? The biblical text indicates that they had many sons and daughters, especially considering that Adam lived for over 800 years. In fact, Adam and Eve were the most fertile humans of their time. Eve, as the first woman, was extremely fertile, and Adam was also very fertile. Therefore, according to these ancient traditions, they had hundreds and hundreds of sons and daughters throughout their lives. Although nowadays the average number of children per woman in the world is approximately 2.3 children, there was a time when women had many children. To get an idea of the number of children Adam and Eve may have had, we can turn to the records of the Guinness World Records, which includes the case of Valentina Vasiliev, an incredible example of women's reproductive capacity, as she held the record for the largest number of children in recorded human history. Valentina passed away at the age of 76, leaving behind 69 surviving children, with only 2 of them dying young. According to the Guinness World Records, Valentina went through a total of 27 pregnancies, resulting in 16 sets of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. Although there are other reports of women with up to 50 or 60 children, Valentina Vasiliev remains officially recognized as the record holder. On the other hand, the man with the record for the most children in the world is Genghis Khan, estimated to have had over 1,000 children. Note that both cases mentioned lived less than 100 years, much less time than Adam and Eve. Now let's get back to our story. Eve surpassed all these women in fertility, being considered the most fertile woman in the history of humanity. If a woman today, or even 100 years ago, were able to give birth to about 69 children, we can only imagine what Eve achieved, as she lived much longer, reaching the impressive age of 900 years, according to the biblical narrative. Furthermore, according to traditions, Adam and Eve had numerous children, estimated at around 70 or even more, according to some speculations. Taking into account the robust health, strength, and fertility that Adam and Eve presumably possessed, as well as the favorable context for procreation at that time, it is plausible that they had a large offspring, possibly hundreds of sons and daughters. In the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 1, it is mentioned that as Adam's descendants multiplied on the earth, many beautiful daughters were born. A less explored aspect is that both the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve gave rise to different ethnic lineages, as Adam and Eve originally represented a racial mixture. This diversity contributed to the wide range of ethnicities present in humanity, all sharing a common ancestry in Adam and Eve. The study of mitochondrial DNA, nicknamed Mitochondrial Eve, reinforces the idea that all of humanity is interconnected by a common ancestry, transcending the various ethnicities and races we see today. Through mitochondrial genetic analysis, we have discovered that all human beings descend from a single woman, weaving a rich tapestry of ethnic and racial diversity in our world, where we all share an undeniable ancestral link. So did you know the story of Adam and Eve's daughters? Feel free to leave your comments. Also, Feel free to suggest new topics or characters from the scriptures that you would like to see in a video. Thank you very much for watching until here. See you soon.